Hey, what's up? It's Suzanne, and today I have a story. So I was looking for a job for a while, and my mom just came to me one day and she was like, I found a job for you. And I'm like, honey. Anyways, she said her friend worked there and she said the job was easy and they made good money. So I'm like all happy and stuff, right? But the thing is, she said it's 2 hours away. And I'm like, 2 hours away? What kind of job is this? And she says, well, it's an apartment out there that you're gonna stay at. And I'm like, I'm thinking like, is this even in the same city we in? And I asked her that and she's like, yeah, it is. I just noticed I was recording without my ring light on. Hold up. Wow. So she's just hyping the job up and stuff. Like, it's such a great job. And so the next week we go to the stores to buy like groceries and stuff. So I pack my stuff up and we leave for this 2-hour drive. And I look at this paper that has the address on it and it says GA. And I'm looking like, I thought you said this was in like Florida, because that's where we live at. It said GA. I said, Mom, this says GA, not FL. She's trying to set me up or something? So as we're driving out there, I'm like losing connection on my phone. Like, it's not working anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, what I'm gonna do? And then we finally get to the place and we get to this office that we're supposed to go to. And this lady wasn't there. And she had me like signing all the paperwork and stuff in there. And then as I'm like filling it out, she just starts telling me about her 2 daughters that worked there and how one of them got fired for drinking on the job because some man had offered her some alcohol and she just drank it. I'm like, why would you do that? So after that, she sends me to this apartment and my mom's friend was staying there with her 2 other roommates. So it was only 3 beds in that apartment. It was a pretty small apartment. So it was like 2 rooms and it was 2 beds in both of those rooms, and then there was 1 bed in the living room. So I'm kind of looking like where I'm gonna sleep at. Well, she said she's gonna leave and bring the bed later on that day. So I'm like, okay. So my mom takes me to get some Chinese food and then she leaves. And I'm just in the apartment by myself at this point. Just, I guess I was supposed to wait for the ladies to get back off of work. So I'm just chilling in the apartment or whatever. And I just start unpacking my stuff. And then I take a shower. And I'm kind of bored. So I just try to call some of my friends. And nobody's like answering the phone. I'm like, okay, ain't nobody answering the phone? So I'm sitting on the bed in the living room by the window. And I'm looking out the window. And I see like this random man just laying in the middle of the grass with his shirt off, drinking. And I'm just like, what's going on? So I just decided to go lay in the bed and get comfortable and just read a book or something. And I look up at the ceiling and I see a cockroach just crawling up there. It was one and then another one came and I'm over here just like trying to ignore it because I know I don't like bugs, so let me just not freak out. When we first came in the apartment, it was already cockroaches, but it was like a little bit like running around and stuff. And I was just like, okay, let me just chill. I couldn't chill no more, so I tried to kill the like cockroach that was on the ceiling, and then it just started flying and I was like, no, I'm out. Flying cockroaches, nah, I can't. The normal ones, okay, but the flying ones, it was just so many coming out like throughout the night. Like at this point it was just a lot of cockroaches in that apartment and I was like, I want to go home. So I call my mom on the phone and I'm saying like, Mom, come pick me up, like I don't want to be here anymore, I want to go home. And she's like, I'm already at home now. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna call your sister and see if she can come pick you up tomorrow if you really don't want to be there. And the ladies finally came back to the house, right? I guess they didn't know I was there. I was just sitting in the room on the bed, and then my mom's friend, we're gonna call her Linda. So Linda comes in the room and I scared her because she didn't know I was there. She was just like, whoop. who brought you here? And she was asking me all these questions and stuff, and I'm just answering like, my mom brought me here and all that. And so Linda actually let me sleep on her bed, and she ended up sleeping on the floor. And I'm just like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, she don't mind sleeping on the floor. So I'm like, okay. So I'm basically telling them how I'm trying to go home the next day anyways. And they just looking at me like, you didn't even start working, how you trying to go home already? And I'm like, in my head, like, I know, but I can't stay in this apartment with these bugs. So I packed my stuff up, like, ready to go home the next day. And then my mom calls, like, the next morning, says, well, my sister's not gonna come pick me up and I have to stay there and just go to work. And I'm like, okay, I'll stay. So I go with the ladies to work, and they tell me to just sit at the table and wait for the orientation. So I'm just sitting there, and they already went inside to start working, and I just been on my phone like playing my games that worked, because I didn't really have no connection on my phone. My phone wasn't really like working. So I'm just sitting there for hours and hours and hours. Nobody's coming, and I'm just like, okay. And then finally this man comes out, and I forgot to tell y'all, when we was at the office with the lady, when I was doing paperwork, it was actually this man and his friend in there before us, and they was like, I guess, new too, and they were filling out the papers and stuff. And it was that same man that came out, and I'm gonna call him Apple, and I'm gonna call his friend Pickle. Okay, so Apple came out, and he's like, hey you, and I'm like, and he's like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, you new too? You coming here to work? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, oh, well, you missed orientation. We was over there. And he was like, come on, come on. So I go in through the door, and he takes me to the office inside there, and then he takes me to this man. And so he's telling like the man that I missed orientation and stuff. And the man's like, it's okay, just like go sit back out there with the rest of the new people, and then we'll come and collect everybody. So I just go back out there, and we're all sitting there in the back and just waiting. I'm just sitting out there at the table with Apple and Pickle. And Pickle was just like constantly picking his nose like the whole time. No shame. He just in there like across the table from me. I'm like, a couple more hours, and then finally he comes out, and he takes us all to the back, and then we took photos, and then he gave us our cards, and then he took us to this like computer thing, and he said you're supposed to check your balance or whatever here. And then he put us in a line, and he told us to just wait here, and we'll get our uniform stuff. And then he gave us the number of the area we're supposed to work in. We're supposed to remember that number, and then they was gonna come and take us there, and then we'll start working. So it was like this window area, and we was all waiting in line, and it was like 2 at a time, go up there and get your uniform stuff. So I finally go up there and I get mine, and that they're like whole uniform thing, it was like so much stuff to put on. It was like a cap, a hairnet, some gloves, some bags that go over the gloves, and then like these long red jackets, and then it was like these aprons, these plastic apron things over it, and then some boots, and then some glasses. So we had to put all of that on to go work, and then when our break come, take all of that off, go to our break, which wasn't even that long, it was pretty short, and then we had to put all that back on, go back inside and work. So when we got into the area, like the area you're supposed to work in, oh, I forgot to tell y'all, it was a chicken factory. So the chicken were like clipped onto the machines, and it was just going around and around, and I thought it was gonna put me up there with like to work with those, but they didn't. They put me on this other machine where I was supposed to like clean the liver or something like that. I don't know what this stuff's called, but I'm like supposed to clean like the guts and rip stuff, whatever. Anyways, I'm on the line, and at first I was like kind of like, I don't know what to do. All of this stuff is like gooey and squishy. I'm doing good so far. Like I'm just like cleaning and throwing the stuff, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. This is easy. I can do this. And then they had like these like little green balls that was like attached that you had to like pull off, and sometimes it will pop and it will like get all over me. and it'll be like on my neck and stuff, like green slimy stuff. And then it would like touch my face, and it would like burn my nose because it would smell that strong. And I hated like doing that part. It was just like ugh. And I'm thinking, okay, it's pretty easy. Until like hours started going by, and I'm just like, you have to stand up the whole time. So we just standing and standing, and my body started hurting, my back, my shoulders, my feet, like everything just started hurting. I went from this to like, I'm ready to go home. I called my mom as soon as I got out the car, and I was like, Mom, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm built for this. My body is hurting. Every day we got off of work, I would call my mom every night like, I want to go home. I want to go home. And she would just be like, it's okay. Just wait till the end of the week. Just wait till the end of the week. And I'm just like, so much pain in my body. I was so sore like every morning. I felt like I did a whole full-on workout. So a couple of days later, I'm working in the line and stuff, and then they gonna put this girl next to me, this new other worker next to me, and she had like this thick accent. I think she spoke Spanish or something, but she had like thick accent. I can kind of like understand what she was saying, and especially because the machine was in there too, it was loud, so I couldn't really like hear that much. And so she kept like trying to talk to me in my ear. So we're gonna call her Jezebel. So Jezebel, she kept trying to tell me what to do. You need to move that here. You need to work faster. You need to get an attitude and everything. And I'm just like, girl, who you talking to? Who's she talking to? Who's she trying to talk to like that? I thought I was the only one, but she was actually trying to tell everybody what to do. Like all the other workers what to do. And we all looking at each other like, girl, you a new worker just like everybody else. You ain't no manager. You ain't no boss. You ain't no supervisor. I'm just like ignoring her. And then we get on our break. And then we come back from our break. And we're still working in line and stuff. And then she started trying to tell me like, you doing a bad job. And I was like, I'm doing a bad job. Are you sure? Because my supervisor's been telling me I've been doing great. So what are you talking about? She's like, no, you're doing a bad job. I'm going to go tell the supervisor on you. And I'm like, okay, go tell. Oh, really? Oh, really? Trying to get me in some trouble. She was trying to get me fired or something. I'm like, girl, get me fired. I'm trying to go home anyways. Get me fired, please. Finally, maybe my mom would come pick me up. So one of the like supervisors saw us arguing. She came over there, and then she just took the girl away and was like, let me talk to you. And then she said, I want to move you over here so you can work over here. And the girl just got so mad. And she was like, me? You moving me away? And then she looked at me and she was like, what about her? She's the one that's doing a bad job. Her, she needs to move. And everybody just looking at her like. And then the supervisor lady is just trying to get her to calm down. She was like, it's okay. We're just going to move you over here. You're just going to move you over here, okay? And then she's just going off. And then they finally just get her over there. And I'm just like. And that's why you got moved. Because I told you I was doing a great job. So anyways, the weekend finally comes. It's Saturday. And we finished working. And I was clocking in the wrong place the whole time. And I didn't know until the man told me. And I was like, no, I am clocking in at the right place. And he was like, no, I had to clock you in today. And I was like, huh? And so when we was leaving and I was trying to clock out, Linda told me like, no, that's not the place you're supposed to clock out. That's only when you check your balance at this computer. And that one over there, that's where you clock in and clock out. And I was just like, why nobody told me this? See, this is what happens when you miss orientation. So I'm like, dang. I would clock in sometimes over there, but I thought they had like two. You can go to either one. I didn't know it was only just one. So I was like, oh. I already packed my stuff and put it in the car and was going to be driving back to Florida. So I'm just like so happy because I knew like I ain't coming back. So we driving and we driving and we going back, and I'm starting to see the area, like I'm starting to recognize the area again. I'm getting like so happy to be back home. So I finally got home, and the next day I just called them and basically told them that I quit. And yeah, so that was that story. I hope y'all enjoyed that story time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and see y'all in the next video.